here at Stony Brook University. On behalf of the entire Stony Brook family and campus community, I welcome you here to our admitted student reception, and I extend my congratulations to all the students here today on your admission to the university. I also want to recognize and congratulate the parents and family members for your role in supporting and nurturing your students. Whether you are currently members of students living in New York State or beyond, or you're living in a country across the globe, today's event will have valuable information. Please know that you are all welcome here at Stony Brook. Before we get any further, I just want to do a couple of quick housekeeping comments. We have a chat feature. For those who have questions at any point during this workshop, feel free to ask a question to our chat. We have a general chat, and we also have someone who can answer an international question. So please feel free, if a question comes up, you don't have to wait till the end. Feel free to ask a question in the chat, and we'll answer the question as soon as we can. So that's my housekeeping. So I want to begin by saying this has certainly been a challenging year for all, and we truly applaud your accomplishments and your persistence throughout these times. With a record number of applications to our first-year freshman class, you have all been selected from among our most competitive applicant pool in the 3 decades that I've been here in admissions at Stony Brook. So kudos to all of you and congratulations. Well, I'm looking at my window and I see spring has arrived, which you know what that means. May 1st will soon be here. And what's May 1st? That's the national deadline for you to make your final college enrollment decision. Well, we're confident that Stony Brook will rise to the top of your list. And here's why. And I say this not only as a member of the admissions team, but as a proud alum. Stony Brook is truly a very rich environment where students from nearly 50 states and 100 countries learn from internationally renowned faculty across all the disciplines. Whether you plan to major in any of our sciences or social behavioral sciences, the arts and humanities, engineering and computer science, business, journalism, marine sciences, sustainability studies, or the health sciences, just to name a few, and we have more, you will truly discover the connections that exist between these disciplines and have the opportunity to engage in research and experiential learning. And why is that important? These are skills that will prepare you for life beyond college. Now, on our diverse and very vibrant campus, you will also have access to a wealth of co-curricular opportunities that will complement your academics and provide you with valuable leadership and personal enrichment. You will learn a great deal about yourself and also about those around you. Well, during today's reception, you're going to hear from several of our current students who will share their insights and experiences regarding their transition from high school to college. But more important, how Stony Brook has played an active role in their development. We will also review the next steps in the process for you to enroll at Stony Brook for the fall semester. You need to pay attention to that. That's very important. Before we do that, though, I really want to acknowledge my colleagues here in the admissions office. They have truly been your direct link to the university thus far and have been your advocates in the application review process. So I'd like to introduce them, and I guess when I introduce them, please just wave, say hello, something that you'd like to share. Katie McFarland. Katie actually works most closely with families in New Jersey. Katie, you there? Want to say hello, Katie?
I'm here. Nice to see everybody. Thanks so much. Congratulations on your admission.
Thank you, Katie. It feels like roll call almost. Amanda Mills, who works primarily with students in the state of Massachusetts. Amanda?
Hi, everybody. Congratulations. Also, welcome to all you School of Marine and Atmospheric Science students. Congratulations.
Thank you, Amanda. Lauren Sangemino, who works primarily within the state of Connecticut.
Hi, everyone. Congratulations. Thanks for coming today.
Christopher Ryan, now we're going to round out the New England area, who really is responsible for working with families in Vermont, Maine, New Hampshire, and Rhode Island. Did I get them all, Christopher?
Yes, you did. Thanks, Rob. Congratulations. This is a really momentous time in your life, so cherish it.
Thank you, Christopher. Rachel Wells, who works primarily in the Delaware area, the state of Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. She dabbles in Florida, I think. She still is a little dabbling in Florida. Rachel?
Thank you, Rob. Yes, I do. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming today. It's nice to see some familiar faces that I've met with. So, and congratulations again.
Thank you, Rachel. Johnny Grimmer, who is our national representative, but Johnny, who really spends much of his time in California and Texas, but he dabbles wherever else we need him to dabble. Is that correct, Johnny?
Sounds about right.
Sounds about-
Thanks. Yeah. And hey, everyone.
Thank you, Johnny. Emilio de Valle, who is our representative, who is our counselor, who focuses mostly on in Pennsylvania, a little bit of southern New Jersey, and I believe a little bit of Illinois, if I'm correct. Is that correct, Emilio?
Yes, that's correct. Welcome, everyone. Congratulations, and nice to see you all here.
And last but never least, Ralph Donnell, who spends much of his time recruiting and working with families in northern New Jersey.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, New Jersey families. Congratulations. This is a great time for your future. So best of luck as you navigate this decision-making process. Take good care.
Thank you, Ralph. Thank you. These folks are an incredible and enthusiastic team, and I'm truly humbled to be able to partner with each and every one of you. So thank you for all you do that helps us move forward and brings out us wonderful students like the ones who are here today. At this point, as I mentioned, we were going to talk a little bit about the next step to enrolling, things that you need to be aware of between now and May 1st as you make that important decision. We know that Stony Brook is at the top of your list, but here's how to formally make Stony Brook aware that we're at the top of your list. I want to bring in Lauren again, and she's going to highlight some of those important steps. And she has a couple of slides that she's going to share with all of us to kind of remind us. You've seen a lot of this already within your admission packet, and you're going to see more, but let's talk a little bit about what those steps are. So Lauren, I think you have a screen share you're going to share with us about, it's a really cool graphic too. So Lauren, when you're ready, oh, I see she's about to share her screen. I'm excited. This is good.
Hi, thanks, Rob. Okay, yes, I'm just pulling up the presentation right now. Are you able to see that? Is that okay?
I can see it.
Great.
But it's not about me.
Start. Welcome, everyone, again. So for those of you who do decide to attend Stony Brook, we just wanted to give you just a quick general overview of some of the important deadlines and what to expect and when. So May 1st, as Rob mentioned, is the deadline to make your decision. So you'll make your decision by logging into your Solar account. You will need to place your tuition deposit. So this is going to reserve your spot in the class. So that is a $150 deposit. The housing deposit, so if you're going to be living on campus, you will also need a housing deposit. So that will reserve your spot in a residential hall. That's $200. And then there's the new student preference form, which is also in your Solar account. The new student preference form, you're just going to kind of go through and tell us some of your preferences. You'll get to rank your undergraduate college, which is kind of how we group students coming in by interest, and some other housekeeping items will be in there as well. So it's very important that by May 1st, you place your deposits and your new student preference form in your Solar account. There's also an orientation fee, but that does not need to be in by May 1st. That can be done at a later time. It's just important that you focus on those other three items, the deposits and the new student preference form. That will then get everything rolling for you. So come mid-May, you'll start to receive more information from new student programs. There'll be some online virtual modules that you'll need to complete. So they'll send you more information on that. They will also, once you place your deposit, within 5 to 7 days, you'll get your net ID. So you will need that later on to log into some of the Stony Brook, like the housing portal and things of that nature as well. You'll also get your Stony Brook email address too. So it's very important that once you get your Stony Brook email address, to continue checking that. Because once you get your Stony Brook email, we're going to start sending you all the information to your Stony Brook email. So just make sure to always keep checking that. Then in June, a few things will happen. You will be able to log into the campus housing portal. So this is where you actually get to log in and pick the specific room within the residential hall that you want to live in. If there's another student that's also going to be placed in the same residential hall as you and that you want to live with, then you can choose each other to live together by doing that in the housing portal and choosing the specific room that you want to be placed in. Then there's also the meal plan. So you'll need to select your meal plan. For incoming freshmen, we usually say choose a higher amount of meals, but that's up to you. You have different options to choose from. We typically have like dine-in, quick serve locations that are all part of the meal plan. And then we also have some additional places where you can add dollars onto your card as well. So there's different options there. Then comes the advising planning form. So this is really important. If you've taken any college credits, AP credits, IB credits, anything like that, you're going to list all that on your advising planning form. This will give your advisor a heads up that you've taken all of these classes and that you may be bringing in credit. So this way they don't register you for classes that you might already be getting credit for. Another important thing is if you have another academic area of interest, you can also place that on the advising planning form. So maybe you want to pick up another minor, maybe you want to add a pre-med track, or even change your major. You can do all that on the advising planning form. It's March 21st. We've already received a bunch of phone calls of students who want to change their major. So that's perfectly normal. So if you're in that boat, don't worry about it. Just put it on your advising planning form. This way your advisor has the heads up and can help guide you through that process when it comes time to register for classes. So that's their job. They're there to help you through the process. So don't stress over any of that. Okay. Then in July, we will have your immunization forms will be due. We do have a great admitted student website that you can go to that actually outlines all of these steps, but it also has the forms to download on the website. So if you need any of the immunization forms, they're on the admitted student website as well. They also have the link to the health portal, which is how you will submit those forms too. So definitely check out the admitted student website as well, because again, all of this information is on there. Then will come placement exams. So we do require placement exams. We have a math placement exam, a writing placement exam, a language placement exam if you're not in the College of Engineering. So engineering majors are not required to have language classes. And then there's also a chemistry placement exam. So if you're going into a STEM major, you'll need to do a chemistry placement exam. Now it's important to take these exams because it's possible you can even place out of taking classes. And again, as I mentioned before, in terms of college credit, AP credit, IB credit, sometimes students can either place out of exams with those credits or go on to the next level. So new student programs will definitely be emailing you more information about that. If you do have any questions regarding the placement exams and credit coming in, you can always just reach out to the new student programs office as well. So we will also have new student programs will be offering advising as well. So during this time, you will get to meet virtually with an advisor to schedule for your classes. So this will be going on throughout the summer. So probably they'll start in June, they'll go through July and into August. So you will get emailed a specific date and time to meet with an advisor virtually to register for your classes. Now, it's also important to send your final transcripts. So we want to make sure you graduated from high school, which is very important. If you have any AP scores, so if you're taking AP exams, we're going to need those scores also. So you want to try to get those in as soon as those come in. And any college credit too, you can send us the transcript from any colleges giving you credit. This way we have it in time for when you register for your classes. Now in August, we've changed things up a little bit this year. So the first week of classes is going to be August 23rd. Now the week before that is going to be move-in week. So it's an entire week long for incoming freshmen. This way you get to be assimilated with the university. You get to start building your community early on, making friends, meeting RAs and other student leaders as well. We spread it out over the week because well, we don't want to have any large gatherings, so we're trying to avoid that part of it. But we have lots and lots of programming for you. So some is mandatory, And then other things, we're going to have like smaller boutique experiences where you kind of get to choose what you want to participate in. So it's a great way to get to meet other students, get to know the university, and kind of, you know, get a feel, start building that community as well. Another way to kind of start building your community, we have what's called the Inside Stony Brook page. The website is right there on the page. So if you haven't already joined, I highly recommend it. It is for new incoming students for this fall. So you get to meet other students that have been admitted to Stony Brook. You can get to meet other students from your state as well, other students in your major. A lot of times they start getting to know each other, you know, talking about their favorite Netflix shows and all sorts of things like that. And before you know it, you met your future roommate. So oftentimes they make connections through Inside Stony Brook, and it's just a nice way to be connected to other students coming into the university as well. So all of this information is on our admitted student website. Keep checking your email. That is definitely important as well. The new student programs website will also have more information for you along the way. So if you're unsure of, you know, what part of the process you're in, definitely keep checking back to our websites. We have all of the information there. And parents, we didn't forget about you either. We do have some virtual programming for parents as well that new student programs will be putting on too. So they will be emailing you that as well. So that's all there is for the timeline. Again, congratulations. We wish you the best of luck, and we hope to see you on campus.
Thank you, Lauren. It was very comprehensive, and I like the visuals too. I just wanted to say a quick remark about what Lauren was talking about, sense of community, and something that we always knew existed on our campus, but had become ever more obvious this past year during this challenging time. We are Seawolves here at Stony Brook, and one of the things that Seawolves do is that they take care of each other. And I was very humbled to watch this past year how our Seawolves on campus and even outside of campus were really taking care of each other. They really wanted to be here, and they did everything in their power to make sure that they stayed safe and that others around them remained safe so that they could be here this past year. And it was incredible, and it was such an amazing thing. And I'm so very proud of each and every one of our Seawolves, because it really drove home the reason our folks are here, and they take care of each other. And always know that. So you're in good hands when you join Seawolf country. Always know that. So we're going to move on to the next part of this program, which I think is really exciting. Not that the rest of it wasn't already, but we know that you all want to hear from our students. And I know it's been hard this past year because you weren't necessarily able to come here on campus and meet with our students. And I always say students give you reality. You know, they are the pulse of this campus, and they share with you insight that no one else can truly share. And you'll probably want to ask them more questions than you might want to ask us. And that's okay. We're not insulted. So we want you to ask away. So we have 4 amazing students who are joining us today: Anton, Emma, Jackie, and Risha, who are I'm gonna pose some questions to them. I'm gonna go, because I'm a Virgo and I like things orderly. We're going to pose it in a certain order, and there are multiple parts to each question. So we're going to let each speaker respond to the question. And what they're going to do first is they're going to introduce themselves to you in further detail, tell a little bit about who they are, what they're studying, where they're from, so you can get a better sense of who our Seawolves truly are. So are you ready? Let's bring on the students and let's have some fun. This is going to be the fun part, I think. It always makes my day. So we have the first series of questions. Anton, you're going to be first, because I guess Amanda said we're using the alphabet and A comes first. So that's the order. It's alphabetical. So Anton, you ready? Anton?
I'm ready.
You're ready. Good. Okay, don't worry. I got you. So Anton, so because our students here today will most likely be living on campus, as many of our freshmen, the majority of our first year students do typically, although this has been anything but typical. Can you tell us a little bit about, and this is a multiple part question, so I'm going to say all the parts and then I can repeat them again if you forget. So what is an RA? Okay, that's part 1. Have you been an RA? Okay, it's like, what is your life? This is your life, right? How do RAs impact your campus experience? We're getting deeper and deeper now. What are the residence halls like? And what's been your favorite part about living on campus? So it's RA to the role that they play to what's your favorite part of living on campus? You got it?
I got it.
All
Yeah,
right.
so my name's Anton. I'm actually from Massachusetts. And this is my first year being an RA on campus. I'm a junior here, and just some of the things that we as RAs do is we kind of try to hold the community in the dorms, kind of form a sense of community within just camp residential life in general. We host events. We're there for students, just if you need someone to talk to, if let's say you got locked out or something, or if your laundry's stuck, like stuff happens, we get it, that's what we're here for. So we just kind of try to make your transition into college life as smooth as possible, try to help you with any hiccups, maybe guide you to a certain, certain direction if you're unsure of where to go, what to do with your career in general as well. We try to just help out as much as possible. One of my favorite parts about living on campus is just going to all the different events that are hosted, because a lot of people don't necessarily sometimes like look outside of their direct like residential area, but there's a bunch of different events that are hosted on campus that aren't necessarily residential related. Like we as RAs host events almost weekly, but there's also SBU Engaged, where there's a bunch of different events from all over campus. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can get involved in that regard. So that's probably my favorite way, or my favorite part of living on campus.
Thank you, Anton. I thought you were going to say your favorite part was getting the unstuck or the laundry unstuck from the washing machine. I had never heard
That's
that.
always fun, yes.
Is that under duties as assigned in the very small print? I love it. That's great. That's great. I'm never going to forget that, by the way. So Emma, you're up next. You ready? Okay. So same deal applies. Multiple part questions. I'll say them all. I'll ask them all, and then if you need me to repeat them, we'll do it. And this is probably more prevalent to what's been happening this past year. And I think this is really a very important thing for all of our guests to understand. So how did COVID-19 change how you take classes? That's number one. What impact has the pandemic had on how you study? How do you rate Stony Brook's response to COVID-19? And if you live on campus now, what is that like? And how is that different? A lot of questions right now, right?
Thanks, Rob. I think we can handle it. So hi, everyone. Just before I get into these questions, a little bit about me and the stuff that I do on campus. So my name is Emma. I am a senior here at Stony Brook, majoring in biology with a concentration in developmental genetics. I'm also doing a minor in anthropology, and I'm on the pre-medicine track. I'm also from Massachusetts. I'm from Reading, which is about 20 minutes north of Boston, 4 to 5 hours from Stony Brook. And I have lived on campus my entire time here. In terms of involvement, I work here in the admissions office. I participate in clinical research, and I have been a TA for the biology department, and I'm vice president of 2 different clubs. So talking about COVID really is prevalent. I know Rob mentioned a little bit earlier that Stony Brook has had a really good response to everything that has been going on. It has remained open this entire time, which is really impressive. We went completely online in the spring of last semester. So everybody's classes got moved online and we were all sent home. But by the fall, we were able to come back to campus if we chose to, which was really great. A lot of schools have not let people come back if they aren't taking in-person classes. So the fact that we're able to do that was really impressive. I had all online classes in the fall, so I actually chose to stay home in Massachusetts and do my fall semester online. So that is an option as well. But for the spring, we have transitioned to offering more classes to be hybrid. So more people have been coming back to campus. I think our on-campus residential number has doubled from the fall to the spring. But that being said, we're still remaining very safe. We have testing all the time. We have a really robust contact tracing program. So all of that has been really great. And I know that Stony Brook has been a model for other colleges with their pandemic response. In terms of studying, things have definitely changed a lot. Most of the classes, especially the large ones, are online. So it just has a different feel than when you're in person taking those classes. There's a lot more, you need to be more motivated by yourself. There's not a lot keeping you responsible, because you don't have to go to class anymore. But also professors understand how challenging everything is right now and the toll it's really taking. So everybody is being very flexible. There's often a lot of options with how you are able to handle things, and lots of support in place, more support than there has been, previously, which is saying something because we've always had quite a bit of student support. Living on campus, it is definitely different. Pre-pandemic versus now, a lot of our events have either been canceled or are a lot smaller to accommodate social distancing rules, and we have a mask mandate in place. But over time, we have slowly been opening campus and figuring out what works and what we can do to keep all of our students safe, but still give them that, college experience of getting involved and trying all the new things that we offer.
Thank you, Emma. And to Emma's point, we have been gradually but carefully balancing the move back to as much in what was pre-pandemic. For the fall, the expectation is that we will have a greater presence on campus, both in the classroom and beyond, but still utilizing the guidelines that are really important for our safety. So thank you, Emma. So Jackie, we're gonna kind of switch gears a little bit. We're gonna talk a little more about academic stuff, right? Because college is about, I think it's important to talk about academics. Our faculty would certainly like to hear that, and it's important, and it is. That's why our students are here. So Jackie, and this question is not gonna sound multi-part because it's not, but the response is probably going to be multifaceted for you. So do you often work with students from different majors or across areas of interest?
Thanks, Rob. So to get us started, I'm going to quickly introduce myself. My name is Jackie. I am a third year. I'm majoring in psychology with minors in both computer science along with digital arts. So I'm pretty much all over the place. I come from Freehold Township, New Jersey, so I did live on campus for my first 2 years. In regards to other involvements, I'm part of one of our honors programs known as Women in Science and Engineering. I've done research at a couple of our psychology labs. I've worked as a tutor at one of our tutoring centers. So there's pretty much a lot going on. Now, going back to the question in regards to working with students of other disciplines, majors, areas of interest, I'm already doing it with my academic plan, but even if you are only with maybe one major or maybe you have one minor on top of that, you will be exposed to pretty much the entire college campus. As part of your requirements for graduation, there's something known as our Stony Brook curriculum. We usually like to just refer to as SBCs. So these are gen ed courses that you will take to make you a very well-rounded student. So it could be, let's say, an art class, a history class, language class. So all of these, for the most part, you'll find people of other disciplines or other people making those same requirements. And that's a really nice way to expose yourself to other interests at another major, minor, or just have fun, really, when it comes to your 4 years at college. Even outside of those SBCs, you can meet new people within the other involvements. For example, I am part of the Applied Mathematics Committee, even though I don't take that many math classes, actually. So I get to be involved with students like that. There's a lot of research as well, as we are known for being a research institution. And I am like the one programming background student within the psychology labs. I did have a friend that did research during the summer. She was biomedical, worked with chemical engineers. She worked with people within computer science, information systems. So there's a lot of ways in order to collaborate across the different disciplines, and you can come up with really good stuff, whether it be research, academic, or just fun stuff as well.
Thank you, Jackie. And I want to just kind of bring a point home that you mentioned about across the disciplines. Your major is only one component of your overall academic study, and many times you'll have a minor, or Emma and you have probably 5 minors right now. But we're not just educating students for a particular vocation in life. We are educating students for life. And whether you're an engineer, whether you're a science major, an English major, you have to understand the relationships between the disciplines. You have to have strength in communication skills. You have to have analytical skills. These are things that are required through a broad liberal arts education, regardless of the major you choose, which is what Jackie was talking about, that Stony Brook curriculum. we require that because we want to educate you. We want to expose you to a wide variety of disciplines because that's what life is about. We're not just living in a silo. It's important to understand relationships among disciplines, relationships in things in life in general. So that's, thank you for saying that, Jackie. It's a really, really important. And the research piece is also important because we at Stony Brook encourage students to ask questions and to be at the forefront of answering those questions. And research is one of the vehicles through which students do that. And that doesn't happen at most other undergraduate institutions. It happens regularly here, and many of our students who are engaged in research are published as a result of their research and present at local and national conferences. So it's kind of, you take the theory that you learn in the class and you put it into practical sense. Research is the vehicle through which you do that. So it's learning in a proactive. Sorry, I can't help but comment because I'm so excited by everything you're all saying. It makes me think I'm going back to college again. So, all right, Risha, you ready? Okay, she's ready. Okay, now yours is, I'm going back to the multi-part question again, because we have to do that. All right, so here we go. When did you decide on your current major? So we're staying in the academic theme right now. Describe that process and what it was like. Is the major that you put on your college application the same or similar to your current major? Interesting.
Yeah, great question. I'm going to do the same thing and introduce myself really quick. I'm a senior here at Stony Brook, majoring in linguistics with a minor in math. I'm originally from just outside Portland, Oregon. You can see lovely meadow behind me from where I'm from, which is just fantastic. I've been involved in research and being a teaching assistant in our computational linguistics department. And I'm also a tour guide here. So jumping right into the question, when did I decide on my current major? So I did not come in as a linguistics major, spoiler alert. I actually began as a math major. I decided to change my major to linguistics about the end of my freshman year or the beginning of my sophomore year. Going back to what Jackie said, I was actually taking a linguistics SBC, and it just really sparked my interest in the subject. So that's also a fantastic way to kind of explore what you're interested in. So I took a linguistics course and then decided that I absolutely loved it. I took a few more courses after that. And then I decided to change my major. It was a really easy process. So both linguistics and math are in our College of Arts and Sciences. So switching within your college is actually a super simple process. I just got a paper form. I brought it to the head of the undergraduate linguistics department and the math department so I could get signed off to have it be a minor. I turned it in, and then in a few days my major was changed. It was as simple as that. And I did planning beforehand to make sure all of my academics were in order. I could still graduate on time, even with changing my major, which completely worked out. So as you can tell, my current major isn't exactly like my my former major, not in requirements at least, but I did find that here at Stony Brook, because we are a research institution and we do have that computational linguistics side, that I was able to really combine my math major and now minor with my newfound passion for linguistics. So it was really all just fell into place.
Thank you, Risha. And this is such an important piece because there's so much stress about, I have to know exactly what I'm going to do the rest of my life as I start the college process. And one of the things we always tell students in the discovery and the conversation is, one of the unique things about being human is that we're allowed to change our mind. It's okay. And actually, we give students time in the process as undergraduates to explore and commit to a major. In most cases, it's, by the sophomore year or end of the sophomore year of your college experience, you have to be pretty set in what major you want to study. Now, sometimes it changes afterwards, but that might require some additional catching up. But understand, don't feel pressure. If any of you are undecided even right now, that's okay too. Understand that you're not just going to be making this decision on your own. There are advisors here, there are career advisors, there are folks and current students who can share their experiences about how they chose this major, why they chose this major. Because you think about it, the careers that most of you are probably going to land in at some point don't even exist yet. So again, it's that skill set that you're building through your education that's going to make you valuable regardless of wherever this journey takes you. Wow, that was round one. That was great. We still have some time. This is cool because we have, guess what? More questions. So Anton, I'm going to bring it back to you. You ready again? All right. So now we're gonna awesome. We're going to change the focus a little bit, a little less academic, and we're going to talk a little bit more about what it's like to be here as a student. So again, multi-part questions, Anton, because we can do this. Will I be alone here? What is there to do? Because we know we're not just studying 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. How do I join a club or organization? What types of opportunities are there to get involved with on campus? So life on campus, that's the theme of these questions.
Yeah, great question. This kind of ties back to what I talked earlier. Within your own residential community, whatever building you end up in, the RAs and the hall council of that building put on weekly events. That's a fantastic way to get involved, meet new people, and just go to fun events. Like last week, I don't know if we have any math nerds here, but me and another RA hosted a Pi Day event where we just talked about pie and ate pizza as well. So that was a fun event. People mainly came down for the pizza. I don't blame them, but that's just a fun way to get involved and meet new people around the building. And not only within the building, but there are a lot of events being hosted around on campus as well that I kind of mentioned before, whether it's by certain organizations specifically, or it's hosted by the university as well. We have the Cork app, which kind of outlines what kind of events are happening on basically every day and what time. So that's a great way to find new events to get involved in. And joining clubs is also incredibly easy. We have a website called SBU Engaged. There you can see a list of a bunch of different clubs and organizations that you can become involved in, when they meet, how they meet, whether it's in person or virtually. Most clubs, if not all, are meeting virtually right now. But before, they would meet in person in either in some room on campus. So that's a fantastic way to get involved, meet new people with interests that you share. And we have, I want to say, like 400 different clubs. And I mean, I forgot to mention this, I'm a biochemistry major, but one of the main clubs that I was involved in my freshman and sophomore year was the astronomy club. So completely unrelated, but that's just something that I'm passionate about, I enjoy. So that's just something that I went to. And you can do that same thing as well. You can go to clubs that are completely unrelated to your major and meet new people with those same interests as well. So that's a fantastic way to stay involved and, create a sense of community here on campus.
And that's really important because you're going to learn a lot about the academic piece of the university in your classroom, in the laboratory research experience, but you're going to learn a lot about yourselves and how you relate to others in these kinds of clubs and organizations. So that's really important. And Anton, just for the future, if there's going to be pizza involved in one of those meetings next time, heads up, give me a heads up. Okay.
I'll let you know.
Thank you. All right, Emma, are you ready? Okay, so we talked about or touched upon this a little bit before about research. And this is an important part of who we are as a research university. And again, sort of understanding the conceptual in the real world. Have you done research while at Stony Brook? I know the answer, but you're going to share with everyone. What are some of the ways that students can find research opportunities here? And what resources did you use?
All right, good questions. So yes, I do currently participate in research. I currently do clinical research at a neurology practice that is not actually associated with Stony Brook, but they're nearby. And last fall during the semester, I did a virtual internship with a foundation who was founded by one of our adjunct professors here at Stony Brook. So my process of going about getting those positions was a little bit different because they weren't in a professor's lab here on campus. I actually got both of mine through the biology department. So every week the advisors send out opportunities that were shared with them to all of the biology and biochemistry students. So I applied kind of externally that way and got both of my positions through there. But because we are such a big research institution, a lot of our professors do research on campus. They have labs on campus. This applies to professors in all of our departments. So a lot of them take undergraduate students, which is really exciting. We have our career center and a website called Handshake that a lot of professors will interact with. They'll post positions on there. They'll send their opportunities to the career center, and you can go there and ask them to help you find a position. A lot of the times you can also reach out to professors directly. We have lots of directories online that list all of our professors who do research. They specify what their research interests are, and they'll link you to some of their published work that you can have access to, and then you can reach out to them directly, whether or not you've had them as a professor teaching one of your classes, and ask to set up a meeting with them to talk about potentially working in their lab. You can do that with professors who are on the undergraduate side of the campus, and we also have our medical school right across the street. A lot of professors will do research over there or in the hospital, and they also will take Stony Brook undergrads. So there's a lot of different positions, and you can really start with that anytime. Some of them will only take upperclassmen, but there are those who will also take underclassmen as well. They all have different requirements for what they're looking for, but it's very accessible.
Very impressive, Emma. I just want to echo Emma's point about the breadth of opportunities. And there are a lot of folks who think that research is really just in the science, in the STEM areas, but it goes far beyond. You know, research happens in business, engineering, in journalism, in English, in the languages. So if any of those disciplines speak to you, then it's important to understand that you can engage in research regardless of the discipline. So keep that in mind as you confirm your majors and your interests or explore new ones. Okay, Jackie, here we go. Round two for you. We're going to go back to this academic workload kind of scenario because it's very different from high school to college in terms of academic expectations, the number of hours you put forth towards your studying, what happens inside versus outside the classroom. So that's, for many of our students, probably the biggest transition. So Jackie, academic workload and transition from high school to college, managing your free time, did this meet or exceed your expectations? Can we talk a little bit about your experience with that, so that managing that academic workload, that transition from high school to college with those different expectations, and what was that like?
Yeah, thanks, Rob. So when it came to transitioning from high school into college, me being me, I really wanted to put a lot on my plate because there was just so much to explore and so many fun classes. But luckily, Stony Brook does a good job during their orientation. Wheel you back and make sure you only take a manageable number of credits. So you'll be taking roughly around 12, 14 credits depending on what major you are a part of. So at least within then, you can focus on transitioning into college without completely overloading yourself in the very first semester, which is really nice. One misconception I had going in, while college is definitely different from high school, like the workload is more, you don't really realize how much, I'm going to put this in quotes, free time you have. You'll have a class maybe at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then your next one is from 4 p.m. to 5. So you have no clue what to do in between those two classes. So students tend to have problems with just trying to figure out exactly should you be allocating time to eat, when should you be allocating time to study. So when it comes to that, there's many resources in order to help you out with it. For me, during my first year as part of the WISE program, we are put into group mentoring, where our mentor is a upperclassman of the same major. So they'll be able to walk us through exactly what they've been able to do in order to succeed during their first year. I know that's not only for the Y students, they do have it for the College of Engineering and Applied Sciences. They have it for other majors specifically, I know for psychology, and I'm pretty sure it applies to a lot of other places that I don't know off the top of my head. And even without those mentoring programs, one of the tutoring sites that we have on campus and I'm extremely proud of is our skills-based tutoring at our ASTC, known as our Academic Success and Tutoring Center. So rather than regular course-based tutoring, they would tutor in let's say, time management, which tends to be a struggle for most students. So you'll be able to walk through your entire schedule, maybe make those plans for study sessions, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of help when it comes to managing that academic workload, making sure your transition is pretty smooth from high school to college. That's pretty much it that I had to say on that.
Thank you very much, Jack. And I want to also reiterate your point about taking 4 or 5 classes in college. For our students in high school now, might be thinking, oh, that's a piece of cake. That's part-time. I'm taking 8 or 9 periods a day of classes. Here's the big difference. For every hour you're in class, and it sounds like not a whole lot, most classes would be maybe 3 hours a week. Let's do a quick math exercise, and I'll definitely need help because I was a psychology major at Stony Brook, and I avoided math. If you're taking, let's say you're taking 5 classes. Each class meets 3 hours a week. 5 times 3 is what? 15, right? Okay, I need help. Now, 15 hours of class time. Let's use the 2-to-1 ratio of study academics outside the classroom related. 15 times 2 is 30. Add back the 15 hours of class time. Now you're up to 45 hours of academics. If you use the 3-to-1 ratio, 15 times 3 is where I need help. 15 times 3, I think, is 45. Add back the 15 hours, 45 plus 15, that's 60. That's like overtime. So I'm not saying that every week is going to be like that, but what appears to be very light on the surface because you're not physically sitting in a classroom as often as you are while you're in high school, it's what you're doing outside of class related to those classes, whether it's research, homework, extra readings that are assigned. It adds up. And so it's very important that you stay on top of this before it gets out of control. So catching up is much more difficult, more challenging in high school. So the expectations are different. The schedule is also very, very different. Okay, Rish, are you ready? I know you are. And this is really, really a question that is definitely speaks to you altogether, because as you know, you're not from around the corner. Oregon's a little, is it Oregon or Oregon? How do you usually say it?
Oregon.
Oregon. Okay. I'm learning something. So because you come from further away than most of our folks on the panel here, what is it like getting to campus from home? I know it's not a quick bike ride. How often do you go home pre-pandemic? What is transportation like in the area and or on campus?
Yeah, no. So first question, what is it like getting home from campus or vice versa? It's actually much more simple than you would think. We do have a Long Island Railroad station located on campus, and we actually have a railroad bus that goes around campus. So if you're lugging a lot of stuff back and forth with you, you can hop on the bus, or you can walk. It's totally walkable from like all of our quads and stuff. So I personally take the train to JFK, which is usually like an hour or an hour and a half train ride, not too bad. And then you're there. So you go to Jamaica Station and there's JFK. It's pretty simple. Hop on a plane and head home. And then same thing on the way back. Go to JFK, hop on a train, head back. Typically, you might have one transfer, or if you're lucky, you don't, which is always very fun. And then how often do I go home? I go home during like the major break, so winter break. Now we are allowed to stay on campus during winter break, which is really nice because it makes it so if you are traveling really far, you can be really flexible with your plane schedule. So there's not like a set date that you have to like set date or time that you have to leave by. So I find that super convenient that like if it's cheaper to have a flight in the middle of the week versus the end of the week, you don't have to leave campus on that Friday. You can leave the next Wednesday or whatever. And then same thing with coming back. So from winter break this year, I did come back a little bit earlier than I normally do, which is totally fine because I can live in my residence hall over winter break, which is great. And then I'll usually also go home during summer, yeah. And then what is transportation like around campus, which is a great question, because if you're coming from really far, you probably don't have a car, or if you're a freshman, stuff like that. So as I mentioned, we have our railroad bus, but we have buses that go all around campus to the center of campus, to all of our quads. On Sunday, we have our shopping bus that goes off campus to places like Walmart, Target, Stop and Shop, get all your shopping done. The Suffolk County transit buses run on campus, which is really nice. So you don't even have to like go to the very edge of campus. They're right outside our quads. And those are free for students on the weekend. So one thing you'll learn is college students love free things. So it's great to ride those buses for free. You can go to the Smith Haven Mall, which is right off campus. We have some lovely parks right around campus as well that are very nice, like Avalon. So if you want to get outdoors, stuff like that, just to get off campus or do your shopping, there's plenty of ways to get on and around campus, which I find really convenient.
Thank you, Risha. And one of my favorite local places, West Meadow Beach. I find it very tranquil just to sort of relax and think and clear my head. And this time with this weather coming, it reminds me, maybe I'm going to go there after this event today. It looks like we still have about 10 minutes or so. So I think we have time for lightning round, round 3 of questions. I feel like this should be like a Jeopardy game. Anyway, so you ready, Anton? Here we go, round 3. And this is really important because, again, part of that transition, expectations, and what it's going to be like to be a student on campus. So Anton, if you could share with us, what are the professors like? What are the classes like? How large are your classes? What are some of the benefits to larger lectures? What is a recitation? Ooh, good word. Almost like an SAT word, 3 syllables, no, four syllables. And what are labs like? So this is like very like professors, classes, labs. This is like hardcore reality academic.
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of people have questions in that regard. So some of the classes are every single class is going to vary a lot. For the most part, your intro classes are the ones that are going to have the largest amount of people. Like my initial chemistry and biology classes that I took my freshman and sophomore year, some of those were in the biggest lecture halls that we have here on campus, which fit roughly 550 people, if I'm not mistaken. So that's quite an adjustment from most of you guys who are taking classes in like 20 to 30 group of people. You're going to be taking some of your classes in 500 person lecture halls. It also is going to depend on your major, obviously, but for some of the bigger majors here on campus, such as biology, chemistry, math, and physics, the intro classes are going to be a lot larger. However, I am going to say, as you keep going, your junior and senior year, some of my classes right now, I want to say, are like 15 people. Like I have one class that's actually 15 people. We just meet on Zoom. We sometimes the professor doesn't even have like a presentation. We sometimes just talk. We just kind of like almost like a seminar type of class. So classes are going to vary quite a bit depending on your major, depending on where you are in your degree. And something that I've noticed as a benefit actually from the larger lectures, a lot of people think, oh, larger lectures, I won't be able to like get as close to the professor. It might be difficult, which to some degree that is true, but they always have office hours that you can attend to. And another benefit to those larger lectures is that they will almost always have an incredible set of TAs. I might be biased because I was a TA for one of my Orgo classes, but TAs are honestly where you learn most of the material because they know what it's like to learn, what helped them get through this class. So if you go to those TAs, they'll be able to help you with almost any problem that you might be struggling with. So that's a benefit that I actually noticed a lot as I was taking some of those larger classes, is going to TAs quite a bit is very helpful. Recitations is very common in some of those larger classes as well. That's specifically when you will meet with your TAs, where you'll kind of go over some of that material, kind of hone in on some of the topics that the professor might have gone over briefly, but not really nailed down for you guys. And labs are also going to depend quite a bit on your major. They also usually meet in quite a small group. I want to say also like 10 to 15 people sometimes in a lab group. And yeah, so varies quite a bit is what I'll say.
Thank you, Anton. One of the things I want to add about colleges that offer some large classes is that they tend to also draw faculty who are internationally renowned, who want to share their expertise in the classroom and in the laboratory. So yes, large classes do exist. They exist in some of the most selective colleges across the country, but there's a reason. It draws an audience. It draws folks who are interested in being at that renowned research institution. And I even remember my experience. I sat in the front of the class in those larger lecture classes, and I didn't know anybody who was behind me. I was interacting with the faculty. So it worked for me. Again, but it's a personal choice, but it certainly brings faculty to campus that may not come to a smaller campus that doesn't have that opportunity. So I want to say, you know, Anton, you opened up the door. I'm going to kind of then pitch this question to Emma now, because you mentioned the TA piece, and we didn't even talk about what that actually means. So Emma, I'm going to ask you, can you explain what a TA? We have all these little acronyms for everything, right? Part of the college experience. What is a TA? And if they're helpful to you in courses you've taken, have you been a TA? And what are the responsibilities and benefits of a TA? And what are your classes like? Size, teaching method, etc. That's a lot of questions.
It is a lot of questions, but there are a lot of good questions. Okay, so to start, a TA stands for teaching assistant. We have two levels of these students here on campus. We have undergraduate teaching assistants and graduate teaching assistants. So I have been an undergraduate teaching assistant for one of our biology courses. I TA'd for it 2 different semesters after I took it. So a TA is a student who previously took the class and did well in it. They either got an A or an A- in the class, and they are there to help the current students taking this class succeed and do well in it. So I really relied on TAs my freshman and sophomore year. They, like Anton mentioned, they really are the people who you can learn from the most. If the professor doesn't teach in a way that works for you, a lot of the teaching assistants will be able to break things down in other ways, explain them in ways that you maybe hadn't thought of, and give you tips and tricks that they used when they were taking the class to help you study and do well. The teaching assistants and the way that they interact with the students varies class to class. So in things like chemistry, they run all the recitations that Anton talked about. In some of the courses like biology, like the one I did, they're very hands-on. They're available during lecture time to ask questions in real time. During the lecture, we walk around, we interact with students, and are just there for them to talk to if they need us. The good thing about TAs is that they're usually taking the class again. So like they're in the class with you. They're attending all of the lectures that you go to. So they are reviewing the material as you're learning it. They meet separately with the professors and the graduate teaching assistants who are running the class to make sure that they're giving you like the correct information, and they know how to solve all the problems, how to answer all the questions before they go and help you. So they are a really valuable resource. I rely on them super heavily, even now as a senior. And if you can be a TA, that's also really great, because it really helps you to nail down the material for yourself, because you're learning it a second time and you're explaining it. And you also get more direct contact with the professors and the graduate teaching assistants, which is really great too. Anton really touched on a lot of how the classes are. I'm a bio major, he's a biochem major. We take a lot of the same things. So I think he covered that really well, and I would just be repeating everything he said.
Thank you very much, Emma. I know we're getting close to the 3 o'clock hour, but we're almost done. We are a couple more questions and we'll get through this. If you have to leave, we certainly understand. This is going to be recorded and will be available about midweek. And I know it's Amanda put that in the chat, but if you can bear with us for a little bit longer, we want to ask a couple more quick questions. And then I want to just make a couple of little points that might be helpful for you as you make your final decision. So Jackie, without any further ado, do you utilize student support services like office hours, and I know Anton was talking about as well, tutoring, math or writing centers, etc.? How accessible are they, and how helpful have they been?
So when it comes to pretty much any sort of tutoring, as I said before, I am a tutor, but even tutors need tutoring as well. A little quick note when it comes to Stony Brook, tutoring is free. So you never have to worry about having to pay anything upfront whenever you want academic help throughout your 4 years, which is really nice. And even so, we have so many tutoring sites on campus, you'll never now be able to find a tutor. If, let's say, one tutoring site has all their appointments booked up, there's another one that is teaching that same exact course somewhere else. So they're really nice about that one. When it comes to how you're going to get tutoring, we offer different means, whether it be appointment based, walk in hours. Let's say you need it in the evening because for some reason you're jam packed between 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. We have our residential tutoring centers, and they're not even for only residents. Even commuters can go to them as well. So they're pretty open minded on that front. Our tutors are really good. Trust me, I have been through the training session. They make sure that even during your appointments, they are doing the best that they can to make sure that you comprehend the material. So rather than just repeating back the material from class, they make sure to ask you the right questions, like probing questions, just to make sure that you are able to understand it as best as you can within the hour or 2 hours when it comes to getting that academic help. And even office hours, little note, the professors have mandatory office hours. And they're so approachable, whether it be for like homework help, going over your exam, talking about their research, because they love talking about their research. And even if you can't make their office hours, I had an entire semester and I couldn't make anyone's office hours. You are still able to email them and say, hey, so I can't make it because I have another class during that time. Can we meet at some other time? They've always been really flexible about it, even with everything going on Zoom. Now they're actually getting way more students going to their office hours, and they've never been happier. So lots of different ways to get support, whether it be tutoring centers, professors, teaching assistants. We have a lot going on here.
Thank you, Jackie. The important point here from what I'm hearing is you need to be proactive. The resources are there. You need to seek them out. It's important that you become your own best self-advocate. You students are now in the driver's seat. I know your parents are listening right now, but understand the level of accountability changes from high school to college, where you are now in charge of your destiny. And it sounds a little intimidating, but it's also very exciting. It's a great experience when you transition to the rest of your life journey. That's really, really important. Risha, and this is going to be a really important part, not just for students to hear, but I think also for parents and family members. So you're going to bring it on home for us. And I think this is really important for all of us. Do you feel safe on campus? Why? What are some of the campus safety resources that you think are important on a college campus? And how does Stony Brook rate in your opinion? So, you know, you're living on campus, you're being on campus, you want to feel safe. How does that happen?
Yeah, it's a super important question. And when we were doing tours every single day, we would get this question at least once or more a tour. So I know a lot of people are curious about it. I feel really safe on campus, and that's for a ton of different reasons because of all the resources we have all around campus. So physically on campus, outside of all of our buildings and scattered around, we have blue light phones, which are like a bright yellow box, and they have a blue light on them and a red button in the middle. All you have to do is press that red button if there's any kind of emergency, you twisted your ankle or something like that. And the campus police will respond to that location in 2 to 5 minutes. So we have such a fast response time because our campus police only serve our campus and are located right on campus. So it's super fast response. Besides that, we have several apps. So we have our SB Guardian app, which is kind of like a blue light phone in your pocket. You can hit the emergency button. They have different features. So you can enter in any of your medical information, like if you have a specific allergy, you can enter in, use like the timer feature. So if you know it takes you 10 minutes to walk from the library back to your residential hall, you can use that feature as well. We have our residential walk program. So you just have to call our residential safety program, and they will walk you anywhere on campus. So you can just be like, hi, I'm at the library, please walk me back to my dorm. And they'll send 2 of our residential safety program workers, and they wear like bright yellow vests, and they escort you. So if you've been watching too many scary movies, and would like to be walked home and it's dark out, you can always do that. Our campus is super well lit as well. So I've always felt really safe. Stony Brook ranks really high, and we're a very tight-knit community, and I think that's something that's really special. So you do really always feel safe when you're on the campus.
Thank you, Risha. I think that speaks volumes about what we talked about earlier about we take care of each other, and that's really important to all of us. Whether you're a student, a faculty member, a staff, anybody who comes onto this campus, there's a level of accountability and the fact that People want to be here and they want to make sure that we continue to be here. And we're very proactive and also very educational in this process. It's educating the entire campus community about how we can keep each other safe in whatever comes our way and the challenges that we face in the world. So this is really, really helpful information. This is because it becomes your home and you want to feel safe where you are. You want to feel you're challenged academically, that you are learning from faculty and staff, but also from each other and learning about yourself. And that's what this whole process of college is about. It prepares you for the next piece of the journey in life. I know there's a lot of information in the chat about if you want to learn more. We're having a host of events of the next couple of months related to very particular academic topics, student life topics, really the whole transitional piece as well, what your first year experience will be from those who actually deliver those services to you. So please keep an eye on our website and the admissions admitted student portal, because it's going to give you information about those events, when they are, who's going to be involved in those events. So please take advantage of that. And we are hoping, because I know one of the things that most of you are probably very concerned about this year was the inability to actually visit the campus that that you're thinking about. I know that's challenging, and many campuses across the country were not providing in-person campus tours. Some have, and some are transitioning back, and we're hoping, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, that we're going to have some opportunities by late spring in small, safe kinds of ways. So all I'm saying is, as things change, as more information comes forward, that information is going to be pushed out mostly through our website. Hopefully we'll send some emails as well, but always check the website to see what's new, what's changing, and the opportunities that are going to be available to you. Don't also forget the folks you met here today, our student panelists. It's very easy to reach out for them. I'm not going to tell them to give your email address, but if they're willing to do so, that's something that might be helpful to you. Our email address is, it's a no-brainer. It's our first name dot last name @stonybrook.edu. Aren't we clever? And remember, your counselor, the counselor who brought you to this point, from meeting with you virtually or even before virtual at your high school or at a college fair, reading your application, that journey continues. They're going to continue to work with you throughout the spring to answer any questions that you might have between now and May 1st, for example, but even beyond. Let's say it's summertime and you have a question about your orientation, or you have a question about what is it like to be a student here from where I'm coming from. Never, ever hesitate to reach out to your counselor here, your admissions counselor, because that's important. If you don't remember who your admissions counselor is from today, guess what? Go to the website again where you see contact us. You'll see meet your counselors, and it'll show you who works with what area across the country. So please, please, please do not hesitate to reach out. Again, congratulations to all of you. I cannot tell you what a year it has been from the admissions side of things. Again, we received a record number of applications, and you were selected among such a large and talented pool, and it was really humbling to read your application and to be a part of this process. And if there's anything that we can do to sort of help you through the next part of this process for you, don't hesitate to reach out. You're amazing. You're all very special. You've done amazing things. We're going to get back to a time and a place where things are going to look much more normal than they have been. So don't give up hope. Believe that we're going to get there. We're just about there. I know you have that grit. You have that resilience. A little bit longer, and we're going to be there. Again, congratulations to all of you. We look forward to seeing you on the campus in August, right? Right, Lauren? It was a week before the August 23rd start of class. And thank you for spending your afternoon with us. I know we went over by a few minutes, but I think we did pretty well. Not too far over. So again, if you have any additional questions, we'll remain on chat for a couple more minutes. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the fact that we're now in spring. Enjoy the wonderful opportunities that are going to come your way this spring. And we hope to see you here again. Thank you so much. Go Sea Wolves.